Let's just... Oh. Welcome back to Rewind with bschwitty, because you can't have just one. Today is, well, happy National Potato Chip Day, everyone. I'm excited because you know what that means. I'm going to do some crazy wine pairings, but today is not so crazy. There's a reason why we focused on Cava on Monday. It's because I would have some Cava around to do some wine pairing today on Wednesday. I've been wanting to do this for probably almost 6 months now. A friend of mine went to Spain and Portugal in the fall. She was drinking Cava all over the place, and she found that when drinking Cava, it would be paired with potato chips at the bar. And I assume there's some fancy homemade bar potato chips, but we don't have that here. We have just regular potato chips, and since today is National Potato Chip Day, I thought we'd go with the classics. Original, non-salted, or salted, just original plain potato chips. And we are going to be doing a pairing with all of them. And there is some method to the madness. All original flavor. We're going to be comparing an average price Cava with these 5 different potato chips and see which one is the dominant chip. So, what is the definitive American nationally distributed potato chip that you can have to pair with your Cava, which again is a Spanish wine? For more information about Cava, look up here for a title card. It'll take you to Monday's episode. But for now, like that jump cut, we're going to be doing some potato chip pairings. And I grabbed Lay's. Lay's were never my favorite potato chip because Ruffles, well, Tim's Cascade jalapeno potato chips are my favorite. They're my #1 favorite from being a kid, but that's a regional one. You can get it in town, but I figured we should focus on stuff that at least is nationally available, if not internationally available. And this is just part 1 of, I have at least 4 or 5 potato chip pairings down the line lined up. I know I was talking with the creator of Underneath the Bottle about some future wine pairings, and that was literally after a conversation I had with Lauren about Cava pairings and potato chip pairings, and I was able to map out some future episodes down the line for wine chip pairings. And I think it's going to start with what is the best chip, and then from there we can go to flavors. And then we could go to unique stuff like pairing taro root chips with wine. But we're going to start with the basics, because you always got to start with the basics, right? Alright, let's get started. So, we're going to start with Lay's potato chips, the classic flavor. These are the most boring potato chips in the universe. So the idea behind this is that sparkling wine apparently pairs well with the fatty and salty on a potato chip. This Lay's potato chip, give me a second one. This Lay's potato chip is okay. It brings out, I think the potato is chosen to go with Cava because the earthiness from the Zorillo kind of counterplays the potato earthiness. It's a congruent pairing, if you will. And while it's okay, it doesn't do anything transformative other than the congruent pairing with the earthiness and the potatoiness of the Lay's. The fatty and saltiness kind of get undercut by the dry brute nature of this Cava. But we'll see how it evolves with the other chips. Naturally, next up are Ruffles. If I had to pick a favorite plain flavored chip, it would be these. I was thinking, since the Ruffles have ridges, maybe it'll scour my tongue a little bit more, and that saltiness and that fattiness will be a little bit more intermingled with the Cava. Because they always say, Ruffles have ridges, and therefore are superior to the Lay's chip. Alright, first thought, it is a little bit more transformative. Like I said, the ridges do scratch the tongue a little bit. I get more of a lemon curd accent out of the wine from these chips, whereas the Lay's just kind of maybe brought out a little bit of the acidity. Let's try a second go. Now I should point out that I was recommended to try a barbecue chip or a sour cream chip with this, and I think barbecue, that mesquite barbecue flavor would have gone well with this Cava, but I just had to be stubborn and be a purist on this first episode. So my bar over here, I'm gonna go Lay's is in the middle, this side is higher up, so Ruffles takes the cake compared to the Lay's. The pairing is a little bit, it's stranger, but it's more transformative, but it also is, it complements each other better. Yeah, that was better. These are Pringles. Pringles are gross. That's all I have to say. Alright, for those of you that are familiar with these crisps, I mean, they're what I assume crisps are like in the UK. They're light, they're kind of paper thin. They don't have much mouthfeel. Yes, they don't have much mouthfeel. And they're kind of just, they're like air. That's why you can't have just one. What it does with the pairing is that the Lay's kind of just falls flat. I think the lightness of this chip might bring something more to the wine. This draws out the tartness of the Cava, and because it is it's brute, so it's dry. I don't think it doesn't pair that well. I don't think it's better than the Lay's. I don't think it's much worse. So they're kind of tied for last right now. But I think the thinness of the chip, it doesn't allow for any lasting potatoiness to kind of counterbalance the Cava. I remember the advertising back in the day, the Pringles have less oil than, say, the Lay's or the Ruffles. And the proper pairing for the sparkling wine is that you want the salty and the fattiness, and that complements the dryness and the acidity from the grapes in the Cava. So I think the things that make Pringles good on its own, well, it detracts from the pairing with the wine. So that's gonna go on this side here. I also wanted to throw these in. These are baked Ruffles. I was gonna do baked Lay's because those are more common, but I also hate baked Lay's, so I thought baked Ruffles would probably be better. They're made by the same company now, so it's all Frito-Lay. There used to be some difference, at least a perceived difference. Let's try it. Yeah, I'm realizing my error here. Remember, what I just talked about with the Pringles is that there is no oil. There's less oil in the Pringles. There's no oil in these because they're baked, or at least I assume a much, much lower amount of oil used. And That's readily apparent in the pairing. It's all potato. It's like you smashed up a French fry and tried to pair it with this wine. But I'll give it a second try. Let's go. So like the Ruffles, it brings out kind of a curdiness to it. A lemon curd, sorry. I almost like it. The lower the fat, it's not overpowering the Cava. It might be on par with the Lay's. Let me try it one more time. I'm gonna put these here. They're not entirely the best. I wouldn't go out of my way to try the baked chips, but Ruffles are in the lead. Pringles are going off screen. Finally, last chips for today are Kettle Brand. This is just sea salt. Final pairing, Kettle Brand, sea salt, Cava. Let's see where it lands. Okay, there's clearly a winner here, and it's this. It does a better job at sealing the oil in. The saltiness is perfect. The sea salt plays well off of the Cava. Just that first taste of the chip. The chip is transformed. It's not just the food transforming the wine. It's a play off of each other. And personally, I think that's what's most important when you're pairing wine with any food, is that both items are transformed, not one transforms the other. So these kettle chips, they take what these pairings have done. The potatoiness kind of plays off of that drier, yeasty, earthier tones in the Cava. But right off the bat, when it's hit with the acidity and the aromatic notes from this wine, the chip itself becomes a little bit more fragrant, if you will. It's a beautiful thing. It's like, because these all pretty much smell the same when you take a whiff of it. I'm gonna go with Kettle Brand for the full pairing on this, and yeah, that's Kettle Brand's our winner. So tell me, what kind of chips do you prefer to have with sparkling wine, Cava in particular? Have you ever tried sparkling wine with chips? Is this blowing your mind right now? Do you have to rush out to the store and try some sparkling wine with some potato chips? Let me know in the comments below, and tell me the next time I do a chip pairing. Well, Kettle Brand has a bunch of crazy flavors. Let me know, what is the optimal chip pairing for you? Do you live in a country that provides chips while you're drinking wine at a bar? I know I don't. And if you are going to smuggle some chips into your bar, make sure you go with these. I don't know. Let me know what flavors of kettle chips or any chips you want me to try in the future for wine pairings. And if you have any wine pairing suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I will be sure to get to them in the future. Join us on Friday when I try non-alcoholic wine. And no, it's not just grape juice, or it might just be grape juice. It literally will be grape juice. I think. I don't know. I haven't done my research on the episode yet. But you can catch me on the socials at bschwitty/bschwitty. Whatever tag you do. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.